So yeah, I love that your experience in LA has been sounds like transformative for you.
Yeah.
And one of the things I found online, which I didn't know about, was this series of songs that you recorded called the Lemon Tree
Yeah, songs for the
series.
Lemon
Tell me about the Lemon Tree and how that came about.
Well, that came about during the pandemic. I'd actually been planning to do a solo project again, and was planning to sing on it, to be the lead singer. And so I started to develop some stuff, but decided I needed a vehicle to sort of loosen my voice up. So that started off with me just getting into singing a little bit more and posting just a cappella social clips online from my garden in Eagle Rock, just wandering around the garden. And I was quite surprised. People responded like, that sounded really nice. I think the first one that I sang walking around my garden was Bare Necessities from Jungle Book. And people liked it. And they're like, oh, could you do the whole song? Or some people would be like, could you do some electronic songs? And then, of course, the pandemic hit. Yeah. And I found myself like, we're lucky where we live, where it's fairly isolated and we had this beautiful garden. When we first moved in, the garden in the evening, it's got several trees, one of which is this lovely lemon tree.
Yeah.
And they were all underlit from these lawn lights. And I said to JB, I'm like, that looks really beautiful. Like, I need to do something with that. Like, that's a really nice setting. And then it just all sort of fell into place, where when the pandemic started, I'd had these requests to elaborate on these little a cappella things I'd been doing. And I had to delay my plans for what was to become Microfunk, my other solo thing. So I thought, well, in the meantime, I'll pick several songs and rework them heavily electronically. And I'll plan to do a series of concerts that I'll film from the garden, because I knew people were locked in their houses. No one was going to shows. And I was seeing a lot of people like, they were having problems being enclosed and not being able to do the things they were used to doing. And I thought, I'm in a really fortunate situation here.
Yeah.
And I can share something. I could actually do something. So.
And that was great too. I noticed listening to them. They were covers, a lot of them, I think.
All
and
of them, yeah.
All of them covers.
They
Okay.
were, all of those very soothing, I felt very moved by all of them.
Yeah.
It wasn't the high energy gunpowder that Nitro had, but it was like, this is something that in a time like that you can listen to, and it was so much more, you could appreciate it so much.
Yeah, that's kind of how I envisaged it. Once I was like, okay, people are asking me for more things and electronic things, and I was like, well, it's the middle of the pandemic, so I want to do things that are not stressful, that are optimistic or nostalgic. Like, there were better times, there will be better times.
I see that.
This will pass. And also, just if I was going to do something myself, I really wanted it to be like the exact opposite from Nights Are Air.
Really?
Yeah. Because I've always, all of us, in the band, like some people are surprised sometimes that, our main influences are James Brown and things like this,
I'm surprised by that.
So
'cause you're a dancer.
Yes,
Stage.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there was all these other things. I was like, well, people never get a chance to see it, and I generally am too busy with the ebb and everything else. It's like I never get a chance to show it. So there I was, like in the midst of what was an adversarial situation. I'm like, well, I've got the space, I've got the equipment, and I've got the time to actually show a different side and maybe, give something back. Because obviously no band is anything without an audience and its fans, and they do give a lot. And I felt like it was an opportunity to give something back, and knowing that I was very fortunate, to be in that situation. Only a few months before, we'd been in a second floor apartment, before we moved to our new place. And I was like, wow, it'd be a really different story. We're so fortunate to have this new environment at this time. And I was like, well, I'd like to be able to share that positively with other people, and hopefully bring some kind of relief, and a little bit of stress relief to people's lives. And that's pretty much how it was received.
Yeah.
I was expecting a little bit more kickback from sort of the more hardcore industrial fans, because I was singing Buddy Holly songs.
Yes,
and
yeah.
soft voice with lipstick and eyeliner on, you know. It's like,
Great. It was so
JB,
great.
did
Yeah.
you do that?
It
Did
was
you
so
put the
great.
lipstick on? Okay.
you know, and again, these are like, you know, I remember from the early days, you know, like David Bowie,
Oh, yeah.
T-Rex
Sure,
and all
sure.
that. Like any musician I was interested in generally
Dead or Alive.
dressed outrageously
Yeah.
and wore makeup.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's part of being a musician.
Yeah. Yeah.